Hey everyone, it's Jay Tactical here, and I am starting my AR-15 build, and I wanted to make a few videos of the process that you can go and find just the one certain process and be able to pull it up really quick and watch the process and get it taken care of. If you're looking for a video of the full installation of a strip lower, go over to Personal Defense's page, and he has an excellent one. This is going to be same processes but just shorter versions of it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do the trigger install. I'm going to show you some newbie mistakes that I made so you don't have to suffer through them like I did. So you have your stripped lower here, any brand that you want. I'm using a Palmetto stripped lower. I got it on a good deal. I have my trigger here. This is a Spikes tactical trigger. It's coated in the Nickel Boron. I wanted to use this just because it was a little bit different. I like the color and it had good reviews. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of people stating out there that you don't have to clean them as much because of that. From other reviews I've read that you need to clean them just as much as your normal ones. It just is a little bit easier to clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our trigger install, the trigger itself. You remove the pin from it. It should be pretty easy just to push out and pull through. If it has any tension on it, it's from this piece right here. There is a small spring right here that you're going to watch out for. It doesn't seem to be under a lot of tension, but you want to make sure that you're aware of it when you pull it apart so it doesn't go flying out. So I'm just pushing on it just a little bit as I'm pulling out the pin. When I pull the pin out, it comes apart. There's your spring right there. There's a spring right there, and your spring right there. So you're going to take your lower and the pin, you're going to set the pin down, you're going to drop your trigger in, and it just drops straight in. Okay. When you align it with the hole, as you push it down, you can see it's come into a line. So what you're going to do is take this piece, you're going to put it on top of your spring there. And you're going to push it till the holes line up. And you can see the light through it there. You're going to take your pin, start your pin, and it's a pretty easy process. You're just going to kind of push your trigger down until the pin starts going through. You don't really need any tools to do this. It pops in. You can see your pin on both sides. You can push it where it's even on both sides. Your first function test is just going to be pulling the trigger. When you pull it, you can see where your safety is going to go. Okay. So the next thing we're going to put in is the hammer. When I got the hammer, it came like this, with the spring like this. When we put the hammer in, we're actually going to rotate the spring all the way around so it sits on the back side or the shoulder of it. So make sure you take your pin out. And again, it almost just pops out. You may need a punch to finish pulling it out if you can't get it all the way. In this case I can't quite do it, so I'm going to take my punch. Push it through a little bit more and just grab it and pull it on the other end. So when you put it on, everybody talks about how it's going to sit on top of the springs here and the pin that you've already put in. And when I was looking at the reviews, I thought there was some trick to it that it had to sit on top of the springs. It literally means it's going to sit down on top of the springs. Okay, so you're going to put it in, you're going to take your hammer with the spring sitting on the shoulder there. It's going to drop in like that. So the springs are sitting on top of the pin and the other spring that's in there. And you can push down, and as you push down, you'll feel the spring compress, and you'll feel your hammer move into place. You're going to push it down until your holes line up. right there with that hole. And so you can see the daylight. There's my daylight. So for me, I'm going to have to push it down with my thumb. I can't hold it with my finger and put the pin through. So for the video, I'm going to flip it over here, take my pin, and push it down until the holes are real close. I'm pinching that and the mag well together to help hold it. I'm going to start my pin in there. And you'll feel it pop in. I've seen a lot of people put a punch through it first, and then as you're pulling the punch out, you're putting the pin through. I haven't really tried that process, but it may work better for you. Once you get it in a certain way, it'll get stuck because there's tension on the hammer there from the spring, and it's not lined up on this side. So if you flip it back over, you can see where it's not lined up. You can hold the hammer and start lining it into place. As you're wiggling it and lining it into place, you can put some pressure on your pin to pull it through. And it'll start popping through. Okay, we'll flip it over again, see where we're lined up. Keep pushing it and wiggling, and it pops into place. Again, I don't need a tool to push these through. Yours may be a little bit different. You can verify it on both sides, make sure that it's even. There's a lot of people that want to use the different pins that actually tighten down, so when you're in the field, the vibration doesn't make them wiggle out. I'm not choosing to go this route right now. I'm going to field test it and see what happens. This is my first build. I want to try it like it is and see what happens. Now you're going to do your function test to make sure it's installed correctly. One thing when you do this is when you release the hammer, you want to make sure you catch it with your finger so it doesn't slam into the lower. That's bad for the lower, especially if you're using a polymer one. You don't want it to break it. So make sure you're catching it when you try it. The first test you're going to do is push it down, and it should catch, and your trigger resets. Then you want to go ahead and, like I said, hold it with your finger, pull the trigger, and the hammer comes up, and you can feel the tension from the spring. The next test you want to do is you want to hold the trigger and push the hammer back down. You'll feel a catch point. When you feel that catch point, you'll want to release on the hammer just slightly, or on the trigger, I'm sorry, just slightly, to let it click into place. So that's my catch point. I'm going to release just a bit and then keep holding the trigger back. You want to release the hammer slowly and make sure it catches. Then you're going to release the trigger slowly, and you'll hear it go click, and the hammer pops up just a little bit. So that resets it, and it's ready to go. Pull the trigger, and it releases the hammer. This is part of where the trigger is designed to keep it from being a fully automatic, and there's cuts in the hammer and the trigger to keep that from doing it. And that's all it takes. So my next video will be soon. It'll probably be another easy one just for the trigger guard, how to install that and how to do it easily. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and look for more videos of this AR build.